What is up? Kevin Hale here doing another round of shots on this Sunday night, December 7th, 2025. Hope everyone has had a good weekend. Hope everyone has walked off the ledge after Friday night. Well, this is going to be a fun conversation with these guys talking about the state of Kentucky basketball. We lost the guy. Who we lose? Terry's. All right, Terry be back. Davo, Rando, Paulo, Treso,
hey yo,
TBO, and Kevo here. Streaming live on X and YouTube. Terry, you going to do this all night?
Probably.
Okay. Is it snowing in Iowa? What's going on?
It actually is snowing in here in Iowa,
okay.
So yeah.
Your connection, the weather dictates your connection. All right, guys. Appreciate you all hanging out. We've got an hour, a solid hour worth of conversation. And we got people here that, Davo, is it safe to say these guys like to talk, right? They're talkers. Yeah. And we're going to have fun. We're going to have fun.
They got good insight, so yeah.
Yeah. All right.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah. Paul, you got that radio voice too, man.
Face for radio, man. That's,
You guys. You guys appreciate
Rando. Put Rando on mute already. Like it's already a bad start.
Rando's you all eyeballing each other. Is that what it is? There's some little rivalry.
Face radio, right? Rando's like, yeah.
I just agreed with you. I started off the show agreeing with you. I don't know what else you want from me.
Yeah,
but then agreeable thing I'll say all day.
All right, people chat. People watching, hit us up in the chat. We'll post comments, questions. If you're needing to use profanity to get this shit out of your system from for basketball related, feel free to. I might show it, I might not. Anyways, let's start off with some good news. There's always the good news, bad news. The good news, guys, is I want to say, yeah, the good news is that we got a new football coach. I think the consensus is that Coach Stoops, his time had kind of come and gone. There was the issue in letting him go with a buyout. Evidently, that buyout was renegotiated. I don't know if you all know the specifics on the new time frame of that buyout. Feel free to mention it. But Will Stein is the new guy. Davo, start with you. What's your feel with Coach Stein?
Mitch Barnhart got it right. I think he probably listened to the Big Blue Nation finally and took all the threats and the going with leans that gets us home and everything to bring in the best candidate. Fired up, by listening to his press conference. Of course, we got fired up listening to Pope's press conference, but that's another conversation later. But I really feel like, Stein is going to be the guy to really rejuvenate this program. I'm excited for it. I think it's really funny that he's bringing some Louisville staff with him too. It just kind of adds to the rivalry. I'm just pumped up. I'm ready to go. I'm excited. He's bringing the spring game back. That's really fun. I'm just pumped up. So.
Yeah, it sounds like his presser, TB. He's not going to go through the motions like in the spring. He wants that physical play. And Davo mentioned about the whole Louisville connection. Yes, TB, like you, Will is a Louisville guy like me. And I'm somebody that I'm well aware of his ties here to the city, obviously playing for the rival. And a lot of my L1C4 friends, I mean, no, they don't have anything bad to say. They're actually very happy about that he's the new coach. What say you?
Yeah, everybody wins the press conference, right? But I thought it was a good thing. A change was needed in Lexington, obviously. So will he work out? Who really knows? But I think he's got as good a shot as anybody.
Trace, follow that up.
I'm beyond excited. I mean, I think you made a great point. If the Louisville fans hate it, that's a pretty good sign because they're the ones who wants this program absolutely burned. I'm excited that he's young and he's offensive minded. We've not had a good offense in quite some time. On a side note, the most exciting thing of all of it to me is that Bush Hamden is never going to call another Kentucky football game again. Those interviews with him after the games are always awful. Nice guy, but it's always let's take a look at it, and it's the same old shit every single time. I'm so glad that guy's gone. Outside of
kind
his
of like
football
we're gonna get back to work.
Yeah, exactly. Outside of his football coaching skills, he was a nice guy. But anyways, I also love the confidence in Will Stein. I'm glad we got someone who's ready. He's like, let's go compete. Let's go adapt to the modern landscape of college football. Let's go actually score points. I mean, even if you're a neutral fan and you show up to the games and you're like, I'm here for the environment. I don't know what's even going on. If you're just a neutral fan, putting up points ain't a bad start to fill those seats. And, Stoops is great. I grew up with Stoops here. I liked Stoops, but he's not the guy going forward. And I'm glad they made the call and worked out that buyout.
He ran his course. And we'll on another show, guys, we'll look back at all the accomplishments of Stoops. We'll give him his flowers. But again, that'll be another show. Rando, what say you about Will Stein?
Yeah, there'll be time to recognize what Stoops did for the football program, but it's Stein time now, right? It's focused on moving forward. Like you said, it was time. I was bouncing back and forth between, is my 1A Brian Hartline, is my 1A Will Stein? And then I started just diving into the last 3 years and what he has done with the Oregon offense. And, then reminding myself of that tree with Dan Lanning and then Kirby Smart, and then coming from like this, it's an impressive coaching tree he's comes from. And he's going to bring that. Is a risk not having any head coaching experience, but like those names I just said, they also had no head coaching experience, and they're doing pretty damn well. So I do like the hire. I like that he's from here. And like you said, Terry said you're going to win the press conference, but he said some things that it was refreshing. I'll just leave it at that. It was refreshing watching the football that we had seen over the last few years. And he was like, "Yeah, we're gonna get to it. It's gonna be exciting." And I even liked him talking in third person, to be honest. Like everybody works with Will Stein. I was like, "All right, dude, let's get after it." And I also think the GM hire is something that was impressive as well. So not just the head coach, but the fact that we're getting like legit staff and getting ahead of this thing after we have clowned Mitch Barnhart, which he's not absent of some issues, but we've clowned him for being behind. And with this hire moving so quickly and the things that are happening with the football program, you're like, all right, maybe he's kind of figuring this thing out. And he's got to figure out what 2025 college football looks like.
Paul, kind of piggybacking off Rando, some of the notes I made about Stein that I just kind of in summary. We're going to get more of a modern passing game, a balanced offense, high offensive output. But I think more importantly, I think there's going to be true quarterback development. And, the phrase feed the studs was mentioned. But Paul, the other thing he said that hoping you all caught too. See, I don't remember how he said it, but he said MFers, and that won me over. So, Paul, what about Will Stein?
Yeah, I mean, I'm really excited about what he brings to the table. I think that Rando kind of touched on it in Kentucky seems like it's getting drugged a little bit, kicking and screaming into the modern age of college football. And I think a lot of this had to do with the fact that the money behind pushed Will Stein, which is what you want, right? Like if you're going to have the boosters and the money behind Kentucky athletics, what's going to make NIL kind of push, and they're saying this is the guy we want to put the money behind. It's not a secret. I'm not a big fan of Mitch Barnhart in a lot of ways, but you got to at least give him credit that he listened. I think part of that is he does have a foot out the door, and he's kind of like, if this is the problem, it's going to be your problem, not mine. But Will Stein brings just such an exciting developmental process. I mean, he's got two guys, probably a third that's going to be going to New York. I talked to some people today that thinks Cutter probably stays even if Novosad comes. When you look at the fact that he played some games this year that was really exciting, and then some games when he played elite defenses, some of that had to do with the offensive line. The blocking scheme we had was just crappy. Some of it had to do with the fact that he made some late decisions. He did. Like if you watch replays and breakdown film, there were some throws that he missed, even against Vanderbilt, some guys that were wide open that he could have just made the pass. Even if I think if he doesn't win the job, if Novosad or if somebody else comes, but I think Novosad's kind of the top name right now. Everybody, probably should keep an ear on. I think Cutter probably stays. The situation's good. I think the NIL situation for him is good. He's valued here. And also, if you spend a year developing under the Stein system, the one thing that I think Stein brings that a lot of other coaches maybe don't have is the fact that waiting until your junior or redshirt senior year doesn't mean that you're not going to go be a dude in the NFL. You look at Bo Nix, you look at Dylan Gabriel, draft picks, guys that were at other schools that, were good players, but really developed and blossomed. I think you're going to see that whether, Cutter Boley's a starter, there's potentially an NFL player in that kid. And I think that, whether or not he starts, I think he does stay based off what I'm hearing right now. But I mean, obviously that can change. And I think that's a big testament to Will Stein and what he brings to the table because of his development of quarterbacks in the offensive system that he runs.
Davo, based on what we know of Will Stein, definitely the last 3 years at Oregon, and stats don't lie, numbers do not lie. His offensive mind
they lie sometimes.
Well, that's a fact. But Davo, knowing Boley, what we saw of him this year, I mean, do you think he's a fit for Will Stein's offense?
Well, I think it should be pretty exciting to understand that Will Stein said it himself. He builds his offense around the players that he has, right? And he, and he proved that with the three different quarterbacks in the 3 years that he was there, and you saw what happened, right? So I have all the faith in the world in whatever he implements around Cutter or even around somebody else at this point. So I'm not too worried about that at all. Okay. And he's already showed he's willing to go out and snatch big time recruits too. To put them around whoever the QB is. So yeah, I have all the faith in the world in Will Stein and whatever decision he makes and whoever quarterback he goes with.
Terry, anything to add on Stein?
Oh no, but I am excited. I'm glad we've got a Louisville City guy there in Lexington. I'll take it.
All right, Trace, anything to add? Rando, anything? Okay. All right, let's switch gears to from pigskin to that orange ball. Oh boy, Kentucky basketball.
The fire behind the pictures says that entire thing you need to say about it right now.
The mood. This was a game played in Nashville where, from what I understand, it was literally like 98% blue in the crazy. And the guys just didn't show up. You had I've got video I'm going to share. Let me do this right now. Set you all up, and if it's if you all are subjective to any PTSD, I will apologize, but let me cue this up. I don't think I'll turn the sound on. Who's this? Okay. Check this out. Yeah, I think this one's made the round. But
yeah,
I'm gonna leave the sound down and let you all talk. Rando, I'll let you start first.
That's great. This is a great play. Look at that. Right to the ref. I mean, he was wide open. He was standing there wide open. He wasn't ready. I don't know why we're blaming Cam Williams for. The halftime.
No, let's stop that right there. This right here. This sequence right here. Our previous coach, if this happened on his watch, my feeling is that he would have immediately called a timeout. He would have motioned in a player or two to go into the game, and he would look at some of these guys on the floor and mouth, "Get your ass on the bench." I don't know. Am I wrong? When I saw this sequence or this whole video on how we, it's disturbing. Go ahead, Randall.
No, I mean, I don't. There's not much you can. I don't even know how you analyze, like, when you, as I'm at a loss for words. Hopefully, Pope and the staff can do something. But when you watch stuff like this and lack of effort, just getting bullied, it's tough to even like go to the film room and be like, all right, this is what we have to fix. Like there's an emotional conversation that needs to be had with this team. And I mean, and you talk about Cal before. I mean, we are not absent of ass whoopings and embarrassments under the Cal era too, whether that's at home against, lesser competition or, we remember some of the Kansas, we remember some of the Duke games. And we have done that. We've embarrassed some folks as well, but I don't even know where you start with fixing the effort issues when I'm assuming those conversations have already happened. We can make a statement on Tuesday and sit some folks, but these are clear, like I'm not communicating on the floor type things that the players themselves are either going to want to fix or they're not. Like you can put a lot of this on Pope, you can put a lot of this on staff, and you can put a lot of this on the players. But it's just there's not one issue. There's so many issues that have to be addressed, and winning cures all. And that's why I was so upset about the North Carolina loss when they let that one they just pissed that one away because it could have been the thing that gave us confidence, to monkey off our back, to kind of to go into Gonzaga not looking like. And we almost had back-to-back 10-point field goal or 10-minute field goal droughts, right? Yeah. So it's bad basketball, and I agree with everybody's stance of it's not acceptable, it's not the standard. But I also have an issue with thinking that the roster just failed after most of the country told us this was going to be the best roster in the country, the deepest.
Hold that thought for a second. Trace, jump in and share your thoughts as you're seeing this debacle in front of you.
I was maybe 10 feet from the court watching this happen, and I couldn't believe. I'm trying my best not to exaggerate, but have you all seen the movie Space Jam? I'm sure you all have, where they take their powers out. I mean, look at those plays. What are we doing there? This is Kentucky, man. This ain't Kentucky State in Frankfurt, where I'm from. This is Kentucky, and that is happening. I'm at a loss of words. I was sitting next to Jeff Goodman, and there was an NBA scout next to me I think he did a lot of teams, and I kid you not, that guy left 5 minutes into the second half, said he saw all he needed to see. Left.
Whoa.
He was in Nashville for the event, so I don't know what else he went to do. Maybe he went out to Brighton. I don't know. He left, and I think it summed it all up.
Anything else?
Those are absolutely
country music. He went
anything else.
Line dancing.
And I think honestly, you're kind of. I think it's just $22 million worth of suck, because we suck at this current moment.
Paul, I'm gonna keep playing this. Everybody's gonna get a take, but Paul,
look, I think that there's a lot of problems with Kentucky basketball. Foundationally, that's probably a different show to talk about. I don't know where my picture just went. There we go.
There you go.
That was weird. Just shut off. That's probably for another time. But I thought this was like a 2 versus 15, a 1 versus 16 type matchup. I made the comment on the space after the game. It looked like we were a mid-major playing a top seed. I mean, we can talk about effort. We can talk about continuity, whatever. There's no reason, even if these players aren't good, aren't like the best players in the world, to get thumped by 35 for all intents and purposes on a home court. I think it's the third largest margin of loss for Kentucky in the shot clock era. And I know, Rando, you said we're it's not like Cal. We didn't lose games. We lost games. We just lost closer. And I understand a loss is a loss. Like, it doesn't matter, right? And there's probably, what's more embarrassing, losing by 30 to Gonzaga or 5 to Oakland, right? Like, I guess it's like one or the other, doesn't really matter. But the thing that's clear here is that these guys probably don't like each other like last year's team did. That team looked like they would probably have jumped in front of a bullet for one of those guys last year. You had Lamont Butler basically playing on like one leg and one arm for games just because he didn't want to not be on the court. And when you're watching this, I mean, guys are jogging. No one's putting in effort. Otega Owe I don't know if he got bad feedback in the NBA or it just he wished he would have went. But I think half I wish he would have went at this point. Like, he's just taking up money and doing absolutely nothing. He's not trying. He's not getting there. And frankly, I don't know how this team beat Purdue, even in an exhibition game, because what we're seeing right now, Mark Pope looks very clueless on how to organize his team. You're right. He keeps playing guys that shouldn't play. He's not making a statement. And until he just benches, I'd rather them bench everybody and put the freaking walk-ons in and at least have effort to get when we're getting our ass kicked, then watch these guys run up and down the court jogging, making $1 million plus and getting thumped by 30 plus to a team that has no business beating us by 30 plus.
Davo, your turn to give your analysis on this mess we're seeing here.
Well, I guess I'll be the first one to drop it. So I guess the best way to describe what you need to do here is blow the whole fucking thing up, right? Just completely start over, start from the very, very, very bottom of the pit. It's going to start in practice, make every single player earn every single minute that they're going to get on that court. What you saw against Gonzaga was nothing short of absolutely embarrassing, pathetic. It was terrible basketball. The communication was awful. The effort was absolutely zero. Like Paul said, Pope just looked over there like he was on the verge of crying, which he does after every loss. It looks like
he looks like that before games too. That's also just odd.
Well, yeah, I know the last game before, I believe he was like walking into the arena looking sad. I don't know, guys. I can't remember who said it, but I know it sounds weird, but somebody said they may have too much talent, right? And that sounds stupid, but in a way, whenever you have so many personalities out there who all feels like they're the best player on the team and they're all just like, no, fuck you, I'm going to get my points, and it's vice versa, and they just don't look together. I don't know.
Is it Jalen Rose that said that?
I think it was Jalen Rose that said that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not buying that, but
if you talk about
Terry,
talent,
it's your turn. Go.
If Rick Pitino can tell Antoine Walker not to shoot 30 times a game, you can figure it out. So here I am, Kevin. You know what I talk about. We know fairly early on what kind of coach we have in Lexington, right? I've explained 3 years or less, a coach gets to the Final Four or he gets forgotten. You can look at what Cal did year one, what Tubby did year one, Rick's first tournament gives us the Duke game going all the way back, Eddie Sutton and all that. This is bad. And, I was on Twitter talking about how bad this was. And, of course, we got to bring up the other coach, the previous coach. Yeah, Cal lost, but we had a lot of good before it got to this point. Right?
Yeah.
Like before the Zion Williamson 34-point game, we had 4 Final Fours, right? Like we had the good stuff.
In 5 years.
Right, which only 3 coaches have ever done. It's
Right.
Coach K, it's John Wooden, and it's Coach Cal. That's how good that run was. This is embarrassing. This is not Kentucky basketball. We can look at all the numbers that Corey Price put out. He had something, this is the worst, something since 1905. Like, what are we
The
doing here?
third worst loss in the shot clock era.
Right, because you
Yeah.
got the 55-point loss to Kansas. You've got another loss in 08 to somebody, if I believe.
Vandy, right?
That Kansas loss, though, wasn't in the shot clock era, though. I think the 40-something points was the top. It was like 40,
Right.
38, and 2 at 35, I believe.
But but this is bad. Like, look, this was my whole thing with letting nostalgia color what we saw, right? You bring in Pope. Another difference with Pope is, yes, he coached BYU, but every other coach we've ever had has come with a resume, right? Cal took Memphis and UMass to a Final Four, right? Tubby took Tulsa and Georgia to multiple Sweet 16s, right? We know what Rick did, right? Eddie Sutton taking Arkansas to a Final Four. This is not a job you figure it out, right? Like, we keep hearing him say, I understand the assignment. I'm like, do you? Cal's assignment was, you all had 2 years of Billy Gillispie. I'm going to bring you some John Wall, right? Tubby looked around like, hey, I got all these guys that have won championships. I'm going to get them back to another one, right? Rick was like, I'm going to resurrect this program and get it to where it needs to be, right? Joe B. Hall looked around and said, I've got to replace the GOAT. Let me put my own championship on it. That is understanding the assignment. It's not kissing babies. It's not singing on UK. It's not signing stuff. We are here for wins. We are here not to feel good.
Can I add another layer on that?
Keep talking, guys. Go ahead.
So one of the reasons that hindsight is 50-50, right? Like everybody can sound a lot smarter after stuff.
Shout out Cam Newton.
Yeah. and so looking back at the Pope hire and realizing when you really look at this from like the last 4 years, I think a lot of the Pope stuff, and some people say it was a lazy hire. I look at the fact that this is Kentucky and a brand, and we went through some pretty high-profile names before we got there. And I know the shock, we didn't like it. Then we got on board with the press conference and everything. But when you look at the NIL structure, especially then, Mitch was basically playing footsies with one collective and not another. He didn't like it. And I think Pope was an easily controllable figure that had enough moxie to get the fans going. And I think Mitch thought he could get away with it a little bit. The difference between the Will Stein hire and the Mark Pope hires, I think that the money now behind is kind of really bucking up in the back on the backside. I think you're seeing that even with Mitch's comments at the press conference, like, this has got to stop. When you start yelling, this has got to stop, usually that means that there's some shit that you don't want to come out. And I promise you, I know on the NIL space, there's shit he doesn't want to come out, because if the fans really get the full story, they're going to be mad as hell. So I think some of
Give
it has
us
to
the
do
full
with NIL
story
structure.
then. Don't be teasing. Don't be just giving me the tip. I mean, come on.
Buddy, Rando and I have talked exclusively on this. I mean, some of it,
you can
like,
talk to him, but you can't talk to me.
Well, we're in front of like 500 people now, so
Come on,
it's
man.
a little different. But to kind of sum it up a little bit, it's you look at even Cal didn't like who he was being told to work with in the NIL space. That's why you had La Familia. You saw Kentucky struggle even in the NIL era with Cal, even though he got some players. But when's the last time we got a number one player, a number two player? We weren't getting guys that were really number one at their positions either, like we had been getting if we didn't get a number one player. So I think you're looking at the struggles of the foundational pieces of Kentucky's NIL under Mitch Barnhart, because getting top basketball players is a lot damn harder than getting football players in the NIL space. The money's more, less players, higher profile, real kind of NBA agents, harder to get information from. And I think we're just getting our asses whooped when it comes to that space. And until he's gone, or until the boosters really force his hand in basketball like they have in football, I think we're still going to struggle, no matter who the coach is. Mark Pope has his problems, and you're all right about this. But structurally and foundationally, I don't know if it matters who the coach is right now, because I think we're going to struggle to get guys because we are not able to land NIL deals. And nobody can tell me Mark Pope can't recruit or guys don't want to play for him. We've got too many dudes that have been we've been in the last one or two with, like, top dogs that we lose out on in like the last two or three. That tells me either we're so damn stupid behind the scenes negotiating these deals that these guys know, and it's around that they could just use Kentucky to bitch us to get more money from other schools, or we're just so damn bad at finalizing these deals. And really, when you get to the last two or three, they're so close. It's the nuance of like what could take off more, that even the brand of Kentucky doesn't make up for how shitty the NIL deals that we're building is. So That's a big problem and a big red flag for me.
The brand of Kentucky, guys. We know who we are, big, blue blood, just our history. But let's be honest. In this decade, we're not relevant. We have not been relevant in this.
Just ask Indiana and Vanderbilt if they give a shit about blue bloods in football.
Well,
like this
exactly.
NIL space doesn't matter anymore.
And good for them. We're going to talk about that too. But Trace, you were there.
I think Davo wanted.
Oh, I'm sorry, Davo. Well, that's good. Davo, let's go back in time. When we did our show, we did a Sunday Night Live. It was the day that Pope was introduced. You were not one of the guys that bought into Pope. Why did you not then? And how do you feel now? The floor.
Oh my goodness. So I'm gonna piggyback off what Paul, said, which is obviously a lot. So I'm gonna try to keep it short. So I have a hypothesis behind the Pope hire, right?
Professor Davo.
I think so many, big time coaches that we went after kind of seen the way the BBN treated a Hall of Fame head coach and basically sent his ass packing and threw him to the curb, right? And I think that scared quite a few, big name head coaches out there. And I believe that's kind of how we got to, I don't want to say the 5th or 6th or 7th choice, but he probably kind of was a 5th or 6th or 7th choice.
He wasn't one of the top ones.
Yeah,
sure.
that's how we got to Pope. And once again, he rawed us. We sold out Rupp. We went through all the memories, all the good times, the jorts, the coming out last with the trophy, so on and so forth. And we stuck behind him. We had a really good run in the Sweet 16, and now we are absolutely falling flat on our ass and looking like an absolute laughingstock of college basketball right now, right?
Do you not think we were a Final Four team last year if we didn't have those injuries? Because I think we might have been.
100%. I think we would have had a hell of a run at that. And,
I agree.
And whenever we talk about what's going on behind the scenes, that's the biggest question at the University of Kentucky right now. The behind the scenes of the NIL and all the leadership, that is what's fucking the program right now to not keep up with the likes of Vanderbilt and Indiana in football, right? And there was a story after the Gonzaga game that Gonzaga's entire roster was like $3 million in NIL.
That's bullshit.
That's all BS, man. I looked at it took me 4 minutes to get on Google and see what Spokane was reporting themselves. They got 2 players making $1 million each.
Okay, well, that's fine. But still, I mean, the behind the scenes, we are so Stone Age right now at the University of Kentucky whenever it comes to helping out with NIL and stuff right now. And until Mitch figures out what the hell he's going to do, hopefully between June and July, then I think we're going to keep struggling with this. And
we better not hire from within either, because if you think it's going to get better, you got Rachel Baker's husband who's an executive at JMI. Tell me that doesn't stink. You got Mark Hill, who's basically Mitch 2.0. And you got a lazy ass president, Eli Capilouto, who I really don't think wants to go on a national search. And like you've heard others across the country that have said if the SCORE Act doesn't pass, Kentucky is about 15. You put screwed, really 15 more really screwed, and we are. And so like if that doesn't pass, we're in a lot of trouble because we thought we were real clever, and really all we did was put shackles on ourselves for no reason because Mitch is really just a lazy, old timing, just kerfuzzle little loser when it comes to this stuff. He's been behind on everything, and he's made some really donkey hires. And honestly, if Pope doesn't work out, like your legacy is screwed anyway, because you can't get away with 4 hires in your top 4 major sports being absolute shit. And that would have been the case. And I mean, guys, like we can all say that he's done good. In 23 years, he has 1 major title. LSU fired a guy that won 4 and 5 major titles in 5 years. Like all of our other titles, can you guys name the 4 rifle titles we have? No. Volleyball isn't a major sport. It's a good sport. Maybe we get another one, but 1 basketball title in 23 years, not even football going to like a BCS or playoff. Come on. Like, I think we have to really be realistic with where he really has us. He has Kentucky mediocre in all sports. Like, we're just good enough not to win shit.
Now, the rifle team, I will say they're likely future snipers of America, but I digress.
I'm not super high on Mitch Barnhart, but you literally just said pumping Cal's first 5 years he was in the Final Four, 4 of them, right? So like, I mean, so which way are we going to roll with it? I mean, I think we had to lay some perspective on it. Like, yes,
It was
we
a
got
decade ago, though.
Okay, but I mean that, and then we let the
I
guy
mean,
go.
I'll
Listen,
openly
I'm not,
say his first decade wasn't bad, but ever since like
First decade was fucking awesome. It was.
the last 10 years that he's been the AD, he's not adapted. And Rando, I think you'll agree with this. You can be good and then you cannot be good. And that's where I think Mitch is now. And I think it's right. What's going on now? He's holding us back. And yes, he's done good things for the university, but I don't think he's capable of adapting into what we need to be successful now.
That's fine. When did NIL start? 21?
So 20-ish, like, and then really 21, like, yeah.
Let me.
And that's when we've seen a super decline, I think.
Yeah. Hold that thought, guys. Trace, I'm gonna go to you. You were there. You said, and the Boo Birds rang out and very loud, very fucking loud. I mean, I was like, whoa. They're sending them on. I'm watching on TV, clearly sending a message. And then I got BBN. It's the most passionate fan base. It's all probably the most entitled fan base, but there's a lot of delusion with this fan base too. And I saw some people posting like, why are it's a disgrace that fans are booing these kids. They're trying, these kids are they're paid players now. So that vibe, I want you to share that vibe, because to hear it on TV is one thing, but you to be there and feel it, to truly feel that frustration, because this is 3 games. We have proven we can beat up the little jabroni, but we can't take on the big guy. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean that. We started off 19-2 from the jump. I mean, it was like, whoa. What are we doing? 19-2. Someone said, I never fact checked it. Someone, I think it was on Twitter, said our first 47 shots, like we missed 42 of them. What? I mean, it sure felt like
we only made 8 2-point baskets. I think EK made 10.
EK made 9.
Nine or 10.
That's bad enough itself. I wasn't tracking it in real time, but that's bad enough itself. And that if you haven't been, I'm sure most of you have been to a Kentucky game in Bridgestone Arena in Nashville. The SEC tournament's just like this too. But like Kentucky gets in there every single time, because you get a portion of the fan base that lives out in Western Kentucky or the states out there around there that, Lexington's 2.5 hours from them, but Nashville's an hour from them.
Isn't it our second largest alumni bases there? It's like Atlanta's 1, Nashville's 2, and Dallas 3.
I don't know, but they show it every single time. And I'm not exaggerating. There was 95% Kentucky fans there. 95. There's over 18,000 people there. 17,500% was UK fans. And when they started to boo the coach and the team, first it caught me off guard. Did I think it was deserved? Yeah, I did. I'm not discrediting that. But I was like, whoa, where is this coming from? And then they kept going on for a long time. There's a guy behind me, probably, I don't know, 30, 40 feet. It got quiet on a free throw, and he goes, "Mark Pope, hit the road, buddy. Get out of here. This is unacceptable." And half the arena heard that. And I'm glad. I was glad when Mark Pope was asked about it in the press conference. He's like, "That's deserved. I mean, we do deserve that." But if your coach is getting booed, this is year 2, man. Not even halfway through year 2. I don't know. Those are some bad signs. This year, I'm afraid it's going to be really, really bad. We're just going to drug our feet the entire way. Unfortunately, the rest of the way.
The TB, I'm going to let you get in here. Paul did his spaces Friday night, and it was a very spirited spaces, and I got to chime in. And one thing I mentioned, with Kentucky, Terry, we're a brand. It's not just a basketball school. It's not just a basketball program. It's a brand. It takes a certain guy, a coach, to lead this brand. A Pitino, a Calipari. They're guys that think and feel and probably know that there is equal or bigger than the program, for better or for worse. And that rub obviously with Calipari, when Calipari was like, what was that first year, 6 guys get drafted, that was the greatest night, that clearly rubbed, but you knew right away where he stood. He was a player's coach. It was all about the players. Championships will happen, but his thing was taking care of the guys. Pope is not that. He doesn't have that vibe. He's just one of the guys. He's a former player who by 5th, 6th, whatever the order was, but go ahead.
Well, you have to be kind of a dick to be this job, to have this job, right?
Exactly.
That was my thing with Billy Gillespie when it's clear this dude just wanted to coach basketball, and Kentucky's not the place for that. If you just want to coach basketball, stay in Texas. Like the Kentucky men's basketball coach, it may as well be part of political leadership.
You got to go on walking on the red carpet every night.
Right, it's a different thing, and if you don't have that dickishness, the job will eat you alive. Like you've got to be able to say, I can do this. And we just talked about how Pope looks going into the games. I'm not a body language expert. It doesn't look great, right?
No.
And it's not Christmas yet. That's what I was telling my wife. Like we've got the SEC schedule, and there's blood in the water, right? The champ has been cut, and now everybody's going to want to take a little bit from Kentucky from here on out. The pressure's going to mount. I don't know how this gets turned around, to be honest with you. I don't know how you do that. NIL and all that stuff withstanding, it looks bad on TV. It looks really bad.
You better hope Jaden Quinton's is him, because that's about the only thing that's going to save this team right now.
Well, it's a nice little segue, guys. At this point does he play? I mean, if you're his handlers, you're looking ahead to what the big picture is for him in life when it comes to the league. Is he even want to mess with this right now?
Depends on if his NIL deal's written to where he has to play or not. I mean, there could be a show clause in there to make money. I know that they've started to do that. There's some Shaden Sharp, PTSD there that also has to do with some shit around NIL, which is
I was talking to
get
someone
really mad.
like in the actual practices down in Nashville. Someone who's where they practice. He's not on staff, but he's within the program. And he said Jaden Quaintance is going to play this season. He said he thought that was going to be around the St. John's game. He didn't want me to hold him to that, but he said he's going to play. I mean, he was all but confident, or his max confidence on that.
You got to get on the court on Tuesday. I think you got to get him on the court Tuesday, and then let him have an impact against Indiana. You can't let the Indiana game get away from you at referee.
Oh,
you can't do it. Man. Like I'm still, and I think a lot of this, and I'll admit it up front, is I want Pope to work out. Like emotionally, I want Pope to work out. So
we all do.
I'm a little bit blinded. You just mentioned that if we were
Tuesday, we play North Carolina Central. We play Indiana on Saturday.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Like you got to get him on the court Tuesday, and then let him ball out on Saturday.
If nothing else, you get the fans back on your side with something exciting, right?
Exactly. And I have an issue saying like Pope isn't a good coach. Now maybe it's a different conversation if he can handle Kentucky, but like I think he's a great coach, basketball mind. And you just said that if we would have stayed healthy last year, we had a true legit run to the Final Four.
But if I can, I hate to interrupt you.
Yeah, no,
but we've got injuries, right?
Yeah.
But we all have seen we've had injuries going back 10 years. Pope's only been here 2. My whole thing is if the other guy didn't get any excuses for injuries.
No.
But not just you. I'm saying people like, well, we're missing these people. We've been missing people. If the old guy didn't get a pass, new guy doesn't get a pass.
Die on the court with the
effort. And I don't want to give him.
And you don't see that.
Give him a pass. I did a video. I do the show with my son. And we were talking about it. Like we haven't seen this puzzle that Pope put together yet, right? We haven't seen the complete picture. But excuses aren't an excuse. I'm sorry, injuries aren't an excuse. What upsets me is the fact that last year he seemed to have answers, right? Someone would go down, we would win games. Amari Williams playing point, like he had answers. And this time there isn't any. So like he played and he coached through injuries last year, was able to figure it out. This year he looks shocked that the pieces aren't working and doesn't know what to do. And my thought is last year he had dudes who wanted to play for Kentucky. They were written off. They were underdogs. And the one guy who was proven was Lamont Butler, got to a Final Four And Paul, if you remember the space we did, we had a Aztec beat writer come on, compare him to Kobe Bryant. He's like not the player Kobe Bryant, but the mindset of this dude is like insane. So it doesn't matter who was going to coach him. Yeah. It doesn't matter who was going to coach him. He was going to give you max effort. I'm curious if Pope has the ability to coach like these true dogs in the NIL era who they are, Otega Owe was in the draft, and you mentioned it before, Paul, like, did he want to come back? Did he get better? If you look back at the statement, and I took some slack on it, that brief statement told me he did not want to come back. He wanted to go into the draft and stay into the draft. And everybody said he's guaranteed to come back.
We both took some flack on that because we said, man, I don't think he wants to be here. We both took flack on that one last year.
And he came back, and that was big for the fan base. But
so he didn't want to come. He didn't want to come back, but the NBA told him to come back. Is that what it was?
I don't think he got that guaranteed, late second round 2-way contract that he thought, or the money that we gave him. Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
And we potentially saw his ceiling last year, which even then, would have been great. We just haven't even gotten back there with Otega Owe. But I'm curious if Pope has the ability, the pressure to does he have an inner Rick Pitino? He comes from that tree, but does he have that in him, right? To look at Otega, Zell, any of these guys in the face and be like, listen, I'm the swinging dick around here. I know you all are getting paid a lot of money, but this is my show. And you know what? You're not going to get drafted if I'm sitting your ass on the bench. So you might want to step it up, right? So I don't know if he's
what you just said is more cuss words than what Pope will say, because he'd go, golly gee, gosh darn it, guys, we're not playing hard enough. Like you got to get some paint peeled off the walls. Like break a chair. You don't want to drop 4 F-bombs. Break a chair, bench somebody, suspend their ass. Like, I mean, I don't know if this is like we all hear stuff. There's apparently been some incidents in practice. Bench someone. Like, if you're not going to like peel the paint off the walls, then do it with the authority of like, I don't need to yell. Sit your ass on the bench.
Well, let's stay there, Paul. Let me go, Trace. Let you jump in. Is there really truth to all this dysfunction within the team over girlfriends and all this BS? Talk to me.
Okay, I think they aren't the friendly. I don't think they all love each other, but I think everything you hear is a little exaggerated. And I 101% don't buy the girlfriend rumor, because when that came out, the very next game at Madison Square Garden, the two mentioned Mo Diabate and Otega Owe were throwing alley-oops to each other. They're not doing that if they stole his girl. The last home game they just played, whoever that team, I don't remember who it was.
Well, maybe the ball was the girl. No, I'm sorry.
Yeah. And listen, these guys got multiple girls. They can pass them around.
Oh yeah, they're rock stars. Rock stars. Man.
But anyways,
maybe Zell's got the only irreplaceable one though. Let's be honest.
Yeah, you ain't wrong on that. But at the last home game, starting 5, Otega comes out. He's the last guy called on the starting 5. Who's standing at the end of the line to dap him up? Mo Diabate. Unless they're just great actors, that I didn't buy that for 1 second of it. But do I think?
And they hear the nonsense, so I think that stuff is intentional. But sorry to interrupt you, guys. So I think they do that intentionally.
Yeah, no, you're good, man. I think I do think they like each other, but when you lose, the morality comes down a little bit. People want to win. Everybody's not as happy as they were. But I think these guys like each other. May not love each other, but
does Owe not know he's supposed to be the guy on this team?
Well, I'm glad you mentioned that, because I got a tangent here. I drove back from Nashville right after the game. It took technically 4 hours to get back to the time zone. So I had a long road to think about what is going wron with this program. And the only thing I could come up with is, hear me out on this. It's kind of a stretch, but I do believe it's true.
We got time.
I believe we have a lot of sixth men, fifth, sixth guys off of other rosters that aren't the guy. And so you bring all those guys in and you expect Otega Owe to be the guy, and they are all the guys that contribute to him. Well, he's not the guy. So it gets passed on to everybody else. And when you're not the guy and you're a 4th, 5th, 6th option at your other program, you're waiting for somebody else to create the action. You're going to help when you can. Right. And that's what we're doing. We're all just waiting for stuff to happen when Otega Owe needs to be the guy. And I wish Mark Pope would sit him down and be like, listen, you got the biggest payroll. Money matters now. You got the biggest payroll on this team. You need to be the leader, or this season is going to be awful. You've got to step up and get into people's asses and take charge of this team. Show your mentality. You're a veteran now in college basketball, and he's not. And listen, I've been around Otega Owe a bunch. One of the nicest kids ever. Very humble, very mellow, And that's a problem. You can't. I mean, he's so mellow. He's so nice. Go out there and on the court, have the Kobe mentality. Go out there and take initiative, and everybody else comes up around you, and that's just not happening.
Trace, I'm glad you
we need
mentioned
defensive
that.
end Odapa Owe on in Rupp Arena, right? That's what we need. We need that dude.
And to back up what he just said, like I don't have like a ton of basketball sources, but I know like some of the bigger insiders and people who will know, like I'm friends with them, and I'm sure you do as well. And they all said there's no, like, that girlfriend rumor was BS. Like that, like there are issues. I think that there's maybe one predominantly issue with one other. I think there may be two players that maybe don't like each other, and that's just because of one is getting more playing time than the other one did. And I think that may be the only issue of where maybe there's some animosity there. But I think he's right. I don't think these guys are like BFFs, but I don't think they hate each other. But there's no chemistry there, like, right? Like that brotherly love isn't there. But yeah, the girlfriend thing was BS for sure.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but wasn't there a quote not too long ago where Pope says, "I'm just too nice"? Didn't he literally come out and say that?
Oh, listen, if I have people text me twice a week, and they're like, "Did you see this post on Facebook?" I saw somebody sent me a post today that said Mark Pope's resigning from the team because his wife has health issues.
God, Facebook is cancer.
Yeah, there's. I mean, that's.
It was on Twitter. It wasn't on Facebook. It was on
Twitter. Did you see the one that? Did you Leanne that said Leanne was filing for divorce? Did you see that one?
Yo, can't get your news from Facebook. Sorry.
No, it's so bad.
I do see Leanne's face on the sidelines, and if Pope ain't gonna do something, you might be able to put Miss Pope in the locker room. She might snatch them boys up real quick.
Yeah,
somebody needs to. Pissed. And I'm bringing this all back. Is Davo, you had your reservations about Pope, and I know it's year 2. It's not even. We're not even into SEC play. We're not even halfway into the season. But guys, man, we stink. We were preseason what?
8
number
or
2
9,
in
right?
the
9, right?
Yeah.
9 preseason SEC number 2. We had the
preseason SEC player of the year.
This, I mean, we've become kind of the national joke, mainly because this 22. I don't even is that. Please tell me right now, is the 22 million legit, or is that just a number that we think is?
Everything's ballpark.
Okay.
I've talked to.
I don't think it's annual. If that number's close, it's over multiple years.
Yeah, I agree with that. I've talked to some people in the NIL space that says they don't believe that number that's inflated. I mean, I still think we probably have one of the highest, but it doesn't matter. Like.
It doesn't
my
matter.
Soapbox on this is just like, this is where I think you have a stupid ass athletic department run by dumb people of like, that as soon as that came out, and like I have my thoughts about where it came out from, if it actually came from the athletic department to make it seem like a flex. I don't think it, and it's not. But if you had a smart athletic department, you would have jumped right in there and just said that's not true. Like we're not doing that because football was like,
well, you watched it
was
tear
more
up Duke
still.
last year. Shire got embarrassed last year because he had the highest paid roster and couldn't get done with Cooper Flagg, #1 draft pick. So like, how you didn't like see that happen and go like, probably not a good idea. Probably not great.
Did they get to the national championship game though?
I think Duke didn't get to that. Did
no,
they?
No, it was Houston, Florida.
No, Final Four though. Final. Did they Final Four?
Yeah, I don't remember.
We're not talking Duke tonight. All right, man. This has been spirited, and I appreciate.
Can I real quick? I will say now
real quick. Get your final basketball.
Okay,
take.
Thank you. We have no proof that we can be this team. Okay, so I'll preface for that. But we have seen a bunch of 20 plus, 30 plus losses by top ranked teams this year, right?
Yeah.
My hope is that
Purdue the other night. But go ahead.
Yeah, Purdue.
At home.
It just the team that we just got trounced by 35 to lost by 40 to Michigan. So like, we can, if we want to be, coach, players, like the folks, not we in this space, the dudes getting paid to dribble and coach basketball, right? We can come out and smack Indiana in the mouth and beat them by 30 plus 2 if we choose to. Right? This is possible. I am refusing to believe that every damn near every basketball pundit out there who looked at this roster and say this is one of the best constructed rosters ever. It's the deepest. Yeah, that they were all wrong. Now, again, you got to be able to figure it out, and that's on Pope, and that's where I think a lot of the fan base should be chest poking him right now and telling him, "Hey, dog, this ain't it. And if you do this again, you don't have a long leash with us, right?" And you just mentioned like the Kentucky brand's not going to give you that long leash. Terry said you got 3 years, 3 years to prove yourself, right? You know,
3 years to get to a Final Four because that's what they've all done.
Does he make it to year 3 if we miss the tournament?
You know,
I don't think so.
I don't. Real quick,
he is not getting fired.
Hold on,
man.
I think the only way.
Hold on, guys. Hold on. I tried to. I said I was going to do a hard stop at 10. Can you all go a little past 10?
I'll have to jump. I'll have to jump off a few minutes after 7.
Okay, we won't go that long, but I want to keep the flow going. I don't want to cut everybody off. So
yeah, so I just say I think it's there. I think it is there now. I am worried that we need every single piece for us to get there. That's what it seems like right now. We haven't seen that yet. I think we need Mo D healthy. You got to have J-Lo healthy. Jaden Quaintance obviously is a big piece of this. And while everybody wants to say it's not going to help with shooting, it's going to help with rebounding and defense and toughness. But if you got to focus on JQ in the paint, it's going to open up things, right? It's going to open up things for the outside. And I also believe that we can be a good shooting team if we get quality shots. Right now, we have nobody who wants to actually like move intentionally to get those shots. So I think it's there. It makes me nervous that, again, we have to have every piece to actually get there. But we go to Indiana, Indiana comes to us, we play them, and we actually put a good performance out there. It can be a springboard to get us into St. John's and actually in the SEC play. Indiana is my last dying hope here. I got to see it, but I do think I think it's possible. We're going to find out what kind of team we have right now based on all the things that we collectively said over the last hour. And Trey's really put together like the team. It's there. He believes in it. Like they got some good dudes. Ote Owe, our best guy. He's a good dude. Let's see that dog, right? Let's see that dog and take over a game. Yeah. And if it happens Saturday, I think that's a massive winning cures all. We do that Saturday and we springboard into January. That's big, and we turn the narrative around.
He goes 500 or less, though. I don't think he gets year 3.
But yeah, I'm telling you right now, if we lose to Indiana, I'm saying if, I'm not putting a bad juju. I'm saying if you are going to have to find the best freaking, contractors in Lexington because they're going to have to rebuild fucking Rupp Arena. They are going to tear that building down.
Birds.
I don't know if I agree with the year 3 thing because, it's too short of a leash. I think I would say extend it one more 4 years, but that's just my
4, yeah.
The only reason I say year 3 is every coach that's got a banner in Rupp Arena, by year 3, they went to a Final Four. And the 2 coaches over the last 60 years that didn't, Eddie Sutton and Billy G, they're not up there. But by year 3, all those people went to a Final Four. And people tell me it's different now because there's NIL.
Well, Eddie Sutton went to a Final Four, right?
He lost in 86. He lost in 86, right?
No, I'm saying Eddie Sutton took us to a Final. Did he take us to a Final Four?
Not in 84, right? That's Joe B, right?
No, I said did Eddie Sutton take us to a Final Four? I
don't think he did he?
Maybe he did. All right, never mind.
But
you're right. We lost LSU. Never mind.
Right. My point is, I understand NIL is new, but when I say every coach, that is Adolph Rupp, 3 years, right?
Yeah.
What I'm saying is that's 80 years of basketball that's covering ups and downs. They let Negroes play in the NCAA now. We've got a 3-point shot. All this stuff has changed. So from Adolph Rupp to one and dones, every coach by year 3, Patino year 4 because of probation.
He got it. Yeah.
What I'm saying is, if that is the standard, and that has been the standard since Adolph Rupp came from Kansas, it has to be the standard, even if we like the coach.
Yeah, I just don't. I'm saying I agree with your point. I just don't think he will be let go after the second year and not reach a third year type.
But
do you not think it depends on how? Like, I think if we're under 500 and we take 2 or 3 more just ass beatings, like in the 30s,
we don't make the tournament.
I think if we don't make the tournament,
so 5 more seasons. I think Cal was here 4 or 5 more seasons after going under 500.
yeah, but didn't he win the title and then go to the NIT?
I'm talking about
was-
2020, 9 and 16.
Yeah, but that I think, but Cal also had 4 Final Fours here. He also had Elite Eights. That Elite Eight versus West Virginia was such a fluke because they were like a 24% shooting team. They just shot 1,000,000 threes and hit them. Like that was different. He had a title under his belt where I think that's different. Like people were willing to give Cal. And then, the year before even, we probably would have won the national title with that team. Like that's the biggest what if. But you look in the biggest thing here too is the NIL era. How are people going to give Pope money? Right? Are we going to be able to bring in like big recruits? I mean, think about it. The biggest recruit that we've gotten in the Mark Pope era, we needed Vince Morrow to get. All right. And Vince Morrow's gone. We needed Vince Morrow to get Jasper Johnson to save our ass in that debacle of how that was handled.
Vince Morrow is texting or tweeting Nick Roush during a game. But anyway,
embarrassing.
I digress.
Yeah. Enjoy your 2-year run, buddy.
Yeah.
But Tress, let me ask you this. So we're talking about possible not making into year 3, which I think is crazy also, right? But in this era that we're in now, and as quickly as you can get results with the NIL and the transfer portal, right? If he has, and I hate to say it, but it's trending that way. If he has a super shit season and we don't make the tournament and we finish something like 15-15, isn't there a possibility where there has to be some sort of conversation had between?
I'll tell you why. There's not. Mitch Barnhart's still here.
I that part I do agree with. I don't think there's.
But
I think
also, who are you going to get to
overwhelming
replace
pressure.
him? You got Pope, who was like, we saw how we treated him last year with selling out Rupp Arena, and we embraced this guy after we initially wrote him off as the hire. If you fire him after year 2, who's going to come in and take this job? Going like, wait, hold on. I mean, Billy Donovan come in here. But why? Like, I mean,
because the best in the world, because the best coaches want to be it, because they want that pressure, they want that fire. Like the best want that. Like the Michael Jordans, the Kobe Bryant,
Cal flirted with
Phil
Arkansas
Jacksons.
because he was done with it.
I don't think that. I think Cal flirted with Arkansas because the NIL structure was so damn stupid. I honestly believe that he got a boatload of cash. He's still leading recruits.
I kind of with Paul here.
I think some of that had to do with the fact that La Familia, he was being forced to work with a guy at Club Blue he didn't like. And there's a lot of reasons behind that. And I don't think he wanted to deal with it. And I think the fans, Rando, I think it contributed. Like if we were winning and the fans loved him, I think he might have tried to stay. But I think it was also like, well, I'll go get $1 million less, but I'll go get $4 million easier, no stupidity in my NIL to go get rosters. And I think that was a big contributing factor there because they don't play by the stupid rules that Mitch does.
I think if you kick a head coach out of here after 2 years, I mean, I hope we remember we did get turned down by Danny Hurley and Baylor's coach Scott Drew.
Yeah.
Now,
There's a lot of pressure here, man.
The last time, Trace, that we got rid of a coach after 2 years, we then got 4 Final Fours in 5 seasons.
Yeah,
there is precedent.
There is precedent to get rid of a coach after 2 years at Kentucky.
Doesn't that also show that we're super serious about winning? If we're willing to say hit the road.
This is not football. This is not football.
Yeah.
But would you have in the beginning of the season thought we would have given Mark Stoops a $38 million buyout either? Like I don't think it's likely, but I think the conversation if he goes 14 and 16 or 14 and 17 and we get 15 and 15. I don't think just missing the tournament, but if that happens, like I agree with you. I don't think it's likely, but I think that this thing could get so toxic that I don't know if you could bring it back to like Dave's point. Nah, that's the problem.
Davo, keep talking, Davo, real quick. Again, for the record, we are a basketball school,
100%.
a basketball school. And the boosters, the people, the crafts, all them, it's basketball or nothing here. Mm-hmm. If the basketball
only been giving basketball for the last 2 years again, they stopped under Cal. Like that's what people don't realize. Like they weren't giving what the last couple of years Cal was here, and so like they're now back involved with this thing. Okay. And now you've got a big swing. You've got some big boosters that are sitting on the sidelines now that won't do it until Mitch is gone. Like so when I say the back end is tumultuous, there's other factors here that can play in and give pressure. I agree. I think I would say it's a 25% chance he's not here next year. but that 25 could go a lot higher because we've also seen Mitch try and run it back and then just crazy shit happens and then the coach isn't here. I mean, look at what Cal did, the kumbaya, and a week later he was gone.
Yeah, I'm just under the impression we could lose every game this season and he'd still be back. That's just how I feel. Now that third year would be so awful, so toxic. It's not worth going that.
Yeah.
But I think also with Mitch Barnhart being here, he just got bailed out of 2 buyouts, essentially bailed out of the second one.
Correct.
Still got money, still got to go. But if you look
right.
at the end of this year, oh God, we're in another buyout of all this money. It's not as much, but like he's still got like 3. I think he's still got 3 years on his contract and like another buyout to get bailed out of. I don't know.
Oh,
an interesting thing is if he retires early, like before basketball season it's announced, I think you might know that where this thing might be going to.
Yeah,
but that's where I've told the fans all the time, we've got to stay more engaged. We can't just roll over with the next hire. It's got to be a national search. We've got to clean house in that athletic department, top to freaking bottom, because the stories coming out, even of JMI, how they're like running like revenue stuff and like the people that don't even know what they're talking about with our basketball team. It's shocking, guys. Like it's really not good from that perspective.
And it's basic stuff like, why don't we have any guys going up in the rafters anymore? Why did we stop doing that? Like there's just little things that like you're saying, Paul, like behind the scenes, what is going on? Like Tony Delk can't be the last guy that we've honored. Like there's all these little things that add up.
Didn't Wall get in the rafters?
No, he's not up there yet.
I mean, that's crazy. Why would we not put him up?
None of the 3 national players of the year up there. That's the kind of stuff that's like, what are we doing? Like trying to explain this to non-Kentucky fans. They're like, you all haven't honored Anthony Davis?
AD should have been up there 5 years ago.
Like John Wall's not up there? It's like, nope.
No.
Like it's wild. It's this little stuff that you're like, this is weird. Plus, Mitch needs to be gone because of the swimming thing, if we're being 100% honest.
Yes.
Google the swimming thing, and you'd be like, that dude needs to get out of the paint. And I've been a Mitch fan. That's enough
that's ugly.
to go.
Yes.
We all could talk offline about some stuff and then see how you want to go with some of the, because there's stuff that's just as bad as that shit that's back there. Like, anyway, I'll get on a soapbox on this, man.
All right.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Hey, yo, I'm gonna jump off. If you're still going like the next 20 minutes, I'll jump back on and get in conversation.
We never know. I mean, if we're here at we might be here until tomorrow.
I'm left coast time, so I got all night. It's
Rando, thanks,
for me,
brother.
But
Appreciate it.
hey, we're smashing Indiana by 20 something.
We'll
Book
chat
it.
later, brother.
Book it.
Thank
See you,
brother.
Rando.
All right. Is there any scenario where Pope has an epiphany and says, let's say at the end of the season, his record doesn't get him into the NCAA tournament. Oh, where Terry went, but he'll come back. Would he step down?
I don't think so. This is his dream job. I think he's going to get up there until he gets removed.
But hear me out, Trace. BBN likes to be heard. In Nashville, you don't think that vibe will carry into Rupp Arena? That will be just.
I don't care how much you love a program. You're not leaving 26 million, 21 million, whatever it is on the table.
Okay, yeah,
that's generational money.
We had unfortunately fans don't, and nowadays don't make as much difference. I mean, unless they just don't show up, in mass numbers. But like we had Cal go to Texas Signs, and he was here for a couple more seasons. And like I think it all depends the NIL and boosters and things like that, and the behind the scenes stuff more than the fans, unfortunately.
Peanut butter posse. This isn't even on Pope. 90%, 99% of the coaches would have sold a kidney for this roster. Nobody can foresee a bunch of divas. It happens. My daytime job. Hold on, real quick. My daytime job. I'm an IT guy. I'm an IT manager. I manage people. I manage egos. I put people in place. I write up people if they do not perform. I have fired people if they don't perform. Is he too much of a nice guy? I mean, here's this is my history with Kentucky basketball. And I'm dating myself and I don't care. I'm your all's dad. I'm the old guy here. I fell in love with Kentucky basketball the night that we beat Duke for the national championship in '78. Goose Gibbons, 41 points. I watched James Lee with that emphatic dunk to end the game. The next day, I'm at my friend's house shooting free throws like Kyle Macy. And I've been a fan ever fucking since. I mean, we are a basketball school. Basketball is our thing. And when I see the talent, there's talent on this team, but there's a disconnect. And has Pope lost this team? Davo, start. He hasn't talked. Davo, unmute. Go.
Yeah, he has. I think it's sad to see. I think he's lost it through just their egos alone. I think, like I said, I think there's way too many egos and way too many me's on this team, and I feel like he's having a hard time getting a hold of that. I don't know if he's necessarily lost the locker room, but I think he's lost his team on the court. I think he's having a hard time figuring out the best pieces that are going to work together. And it sucks. It sucks to see. I mean, at the end of the day, we are Kentucky basketball fans. We're going to cheer our ass off, and we're going to hope for the best. But until those results start showing themselves, until we start seeing what we should have saw already to begin the season, which is a badass team with a bunch of good players, we're going to be on his ass, and we're going to be on the team's ass. We're going to be on the administration's ass because this is the University of Kentucky basketball. This is a results-oriented program, and the results right now are absolute shit. And so that's just what we got to see.
You know, as a podcast host, I can't lie. You mean this kind of dysfunction adds to fucking, we have 1,270 viewers right now because the passion, this is who we are. This is our fan base gives a shit about basketball.
Love drama, by the way. We just love drama.
We love drama.
Engagement is amazing with drama.
And here's the thing, though, because some people will talk about Indiana is not Indiana because the fans stopped caring. That's not what happened, right? Fans never stopped caring. Like, don't make me defend Indiana. Like, I'm out here in Iowa. There's Nebraska football.
They're as passionate as us with
right.
their basketball.
Yeah, but
Just more
Nebraska football ain't what it was. It's not because the fans stopped caring. It's because bad coaches came in, right? Like, don't blame the fans and say fans stopped caring. These fans don't. Like, Kentucky fans care, and that means something.
I've told a bunch of people this too. Like, if we need to blame the coach, but it is also you can't take your eye off the ball of what's behind the coach. You know, this is now years. Like Rando even said this. We've been kind of shitty in the major sports since 2020. Like, I mean, we have losses to St. Peter's, Oakland. Football's taking a big back. I mean, the fact that, you know, Mark Stoops had to go get a collective made for him because Mitch was so far behind is a problem. But like, when you're talking about the players and like, did he know? You know, the other thing I have, this is like, you know, this is where I think Kentucky's just behind. Like, a lot of these other schools have, you know, a lot of these collectives have recruiting services behind them where they're tied into some of the biggest coaches, high school, college. They've got files on these guys. They know like their strengths, their weaknesses, their pros, their cons, like what exactly that they're like, what is their behavioral issues? Like, there's tons of like psychoanalysis on these kids on how they're going to fit. And the fact that like we have some, like we've had one in our backyard that we just basically ran out that's working with big universities now. And now we sit here and we're like wondering why we suck. It's because this is Mitch Barnhart's athletic department. Some of this it goes on the coach. A lot goes on the coach. Like, you still got to deal with it. But if you don't have the foundational piece behind it, where you're recruiting and playing on the same level playing field that other coaches and programs are, you're gonna struggle. And if you whiff, it's gonna be a big whiff. I mean, look at Calzada. That was not a source player. They were advised not to take him, and they did, and they paid $1.3 million for a guy that played 3 games. Stupid ass use of money, right? Now, some of the good players that they got in were sourced. Like, they sourced some good players at the high school level, and they sourced some good players in the transfer portal. Now, it wasn't good enough, But that's ultimately where we're seeing these problems because other schools aren't whiffing when it comes to that. And honestly, the crazy stat is Kentucky and Florida State, I believe, are the only two schools in the transfer portal era not to make a bowl game after being a top 10 portal class. So let that sink in a little bit.
Sink in. And I'm going to leave this. We got to switch gears. I do want to talk about the college football playoff real quick. Chandler arguably is our best guy, and I love his game. I love him. He's a good kid. He's a good baller, but he can't be our best guy. He can't be our best guy. All right, guys. All right, let's talk real quick. Davo, college football playoff. Where we at? Where we got to start with Indiana. For the record, those dudes. I mean, I've said this with Kentucky football. This is how I look at the success of Kentucky football. How good is Louisville doing? How good is IU doing? How good is Vandy doing? It's kind of that Bermuda Triangle, if you will, of schools that, that we should be better than. We haven't. And all right, so we're past that. We're not even close, but we're past it. But give IU their flowers. They fucking did their thing. They
defensively,
yes.
which was crazy.
Yes, exactly. Davo,
the one thing you're like, if they could win, it's going to be a blowout. But they held them to 10 points, which made that's elite because Ohio State's got dudes.
Yes.
Sorry, Davo. Go ahead,
Davo.
Oh no, he just said it. I mean, we just sit there and seeing Indiana just look Ohio State right in the face and be like, "Fuck you, we're better than you, we're a better team than you, we got a better defense than you, and we're gonna beat you, and we're gonna send you back in the locker room sad." And that's exactly what they did. They look like the number one team in the nation, and that is absolutely insane. And hopefully, that is just the other side of the mirror where Kentucky's looking in that mirror and be like, okay, well, let's fucking go to work. And just whenever it comes to the college football playoffs in general, I feel like it's kind of becoming sort of like a participation trophy award, bringing in the two group of 5 teams as well. But that's a whole nother subject. I think it's kind of interesting, though, that we get to see John Summerall versus Will Stein. That's going to be fun.
It is the matchup, isn't it?
No. Summerall plays Tulane.
Oh, yeah, right.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, Summerall plays Ole Miss. Tulane plays Ole Miss, and, Stein plays. Stein gets to show off,
for the record,
how elite his offense is against nobody.
For the record, for people out there in BBN who were wet dreaming about Summerall, did he ever make it known that he had an interest in coaching?
Yes.
He did. He did. Okay,
I can tell you that with 100%, with 100% certainty that he was shocked that he never heard from Kentucky, and I can tell you that for a fact. That was in October. Like,
Paul, your sources? Do you like meet in a dark alley late at night to get this information?
I listen. You'll see probably shortly. Like, I'm about to do a show with someone I have no business doing it on a national stage. You'll just see. I just end up in rooms that don't make sense.
I
know people, but like, it's just I've just been lucky that way. But I mean, we were hearing, and there's a tweet I put out in October that, like, I know the fans are like always talking Summerall, but the name that kept coming up was Stein. Like, that was the name on the backside that we were always hearing from boosters. Trez, I'm sure you were hearing that name a lot as well. Like, Stein was like the universal name you kept hearing in multiple segments, and you would hear Summerall, but Stein seemed like he had the most momentum because I think people didn't want to go. I think boosters didn't want
defense.
Stoops coaching a defense, but also you replace a coach with a guy from that coaching tree. I think that's just like, if they were going to break, they wanted a clean break.
Yeah. All right, Paul. Clearly, your sources. We probably don't need to know names, or we would need to be on witness protection. That kind of thing.
Yeah.
Trace, you're probably the same way. Your sources for all your information. Yeah. Right. All right. So
Undisclosed.
staying with you, Trace. College football playoffs. What's your take? It rolled out. This is where it is alarming when you see the spread on some of these games where I don't know. There's one, I can't remember which game it was. The spread is 20 some points or some. I don't like it. Was Bama deserving? Vandy, go ahead. Give us your college football take.
I think from the Kentucky football fan perspective, there's hope with Indiana. Indiana gives you hope that
Absolutely
we have a chance now, and Vanderbilt, even though they didn't get in, but all the things that they've done, there's hope. No matter what you've been for the last 100 years, 50 or whatever, how long your program goes back, Indiana is proof there's hope. Now, there's a lot of luck and a lot of stuff that meets there as well. You got to have the support, you got to have the right people, but it is no longer, you can no longer from this point go on say, well, Kentucky football's never been relevant. They never will be because look at our history. That's gone. That's officially dead now. Now that's a good basis, but Indiana gives you hope, and I think that's something to cling on. And if we can ever clean house, I love what we have with Will Stein. He's a guy. He's like, let's go against anybody. He was at Oregon, who is in the playoffs right now. I mean, he's going to have that experience. And if we can get the right people behind him in the backside of things, and maybe Mitch Barnhart out of here, we might have a shot one day. But a lot of stuff's got to change off the field.
Yep.
Davo, speaketh.
Are we still talking college football playoffs?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I just agree with what Trey just said. There is no more Kentucky can't, right? Because we're officially out of that era. There's too many resources around now to build a roster. And when you got a guy who seems, I'm going to use the word, who seems motivated to build this Kentucky program up to national prominence. Damn it, I'm just quoting Stoops now. To build the program and really show out and really show that, because Kentucky is in the SEC, that there really is no reason why you can't get high quality players and really coach them up and get them up to that level. I'm not saying that he's going to pull a Kirk Cinetti and come right in and get us in the playoffs year one, because that's rather crazy to think about. But I am definitely hoping and thinking that he could come in and at least, make us super competitive and make some noise. So, yeah.
We'll dissect the playoffs as they start, because the first game, I think it was December 19th or something like that. But
Oklahoma,
anyways,
Alabama.
Yeah, there you go. TB, college football playoffs, your thoughts?
Here's the thing about college football. It was never meant to have a champion. My wife, and I know I say this all the time, try to explain college football to someone that doesn't know about college football. Because she's like, wait a minute, up until 1996, they just voted? Yeah, they just voted. And you might have a day where the number one team is in the Rose Bowl, the number two team is. College football is not built like we're trying to make sense out of something that was never supposed to make sense. If it's 12 teams, it needs to be 16 teams. Like, it's a bunch of nonsense, but I enjoy watching football games, so there you go.
That's fair, too. I do. And we still got a good month or so of football. Trace, did you college football playoffs? Final thought?
Yeah, my thoughts, man. I'm not the most knowledgeable person on all the other programs. I don't watch a whole lot outside of Kentucky, so I would just I'll be bullshitting you if I could tell you about anything about James.
Facts are optional on this show,
But
by the way.
I do know that people are kind of upset with Notre Dame. I think that's an interesting conversation that I know nothing about, but like how they're independent and then Alabama still gets in. I do have a take that I do believe. I'm on the opinion that Alabama shouldn't have been punished for losing against Georgia, because then at that point, if you get punished for losing your conference championship, and who's going to play the conference championship? So, I mean, that's the extent of my knowledge on the college football playoffs.
Is Notre Dame not playing, declining to play a bowl game?
Such a bitch move.
Is it a bitch move or?
Yeah, it's a bitch move. Florida State got left out undefeated, and they showed up, and they still. I mean, they got their ass kicked, but they showed up to another team that didn't make it. And look, BYU could have made an argument. And I do understand the logic where people are saying, SEC bias a little bit when they're saying like, Alabama lost, but so did BYU. So why did BYU get punished for getting? I mean, first of all, BYU got waxed. I mean, the thing that does shock me a little bit is that Alabama didn't drop at all. Like I think
Right.
that I think Miami probably should be playing Oklahoma. I mean, and people go, what does it matter? Like, I think they match up better with maybe a little bit better against Texas A&M. But when you look at the road that Miami has to go through is a little bit different now because they've got to go, through Ohio State potentially in Georgia. Tulane Ole Miss and Oregon, you might as well just congratulate them on making the quarterfinals because they have bye weeks. And the thing that irritates me the most about the college football playoff and TB, I get it. Like if it's not 12, it's 16, but you could have had a hell of a tournament with 12 because if you don't have Tulane in there, you don't have JMU in there who are both 20-point underdogs in a playoff game. These are like week 2, week 3 type matchups. You have maybe Vanderbilt or Texas or maybe it's Notre Dame and Vanderbilt or Notre Dame and Texas. There's 3 teams that are out of the playoffs right now that legit could probably win the damn tournament. Are you telling me you want to play Vanderbilt right now? I sure wouldn't. I mean, Notre Dame maybe I think is the weakest of that. Texas, would you want to play them right now? No, Texas has elite talent. It was just like Miami getting in. Like if you're Texas A&M right now, you wish that Golden Dome would have showed up because the last thing you want to see is Miami's ass walking in there. Miami's elite front four. They have elite speed. They probably have one of the top 5 wide receivers. He's a freshman in the country. They have an unbelievable secondary. They fly to the ball, and that defense has just gotten locked and loaded. We can talk about Alabama all you want. Miami has beaten everybody that Notre Dame's played by worse, and they beat Notre Dame. So I think when you're looking at teams that are clicking, that's going to be real interesting. But also, like, kind of the storyline this year is going to be, do any of the bye teams actually win? Because you got to think about all the teams last year that had a bye went 0-4. So there is that whole precedent of playing college football continuously can really be good. I think that sets up well for Miami. I think Ole Miss is in a good spot. I think Oregon's in a good spot. The trickiest matchup, I think, would be Miami and Ohio State, but I think it would feed families. And I'm going to tell you right now, that revenge factor for Miami from the 2001 national title, those kids half of them weren't alive. I promise you, Miami's going to run that whole freaking team in there and let them know how much that means to them to get that revenge. And I wouldn't be surprised if you saw Miami get to the semifinals. If Miami gets to the Natty, they'll win it because that's a home game for them. So, This is interesting. It's an interesting field outside of the fact that you're going to have 2 just shitty games that are going to be over by halftime.
Kentucky basketball ruined. I didn't get to talk Lane Kiffin. There were several other topics I didn't get to talk to because it's 10:29. It's on the east side. I have to get up early. And and plus Davo's wife is like, we got to round this up or wind this down. All right, guys. All right. This is where a lot of people tuning in tonight, hanging with us. I give props. I got to give my love to Trace and Paul, your followers. You all are on here, people watching because of you. Appreciate you guys. And you guys
Anytime,
have
man.
a standing offer to always hang with us on a Sunday night and shoot the shit here. All right. This is the last part of the show. Final shot. Everyone gets to just say their last take for the night. Davo, I'll start with you. Go.
I'm going to come completely out of left field, and hopefully that I have any of my former clients on here for my business. For the 2 of you that don't know, I'm a wedding DJ, professional wedding DJ. That's what I do for my career. I just had an incredible year. I did 51 total weddings this year, which is incredible. So I just want to thank all my former clients and tell my future clients that we're going to rock it out in 2026. I'm already off to an incredible start in booking for 2026. So thank you to everybody. I got one last wedding coming up this Saturday, and we play Indiana, and the bride is a massive Kentucky fan, and she kind of wrote me whenever the schedule came out and was all like, David, I'm so sorry, and blah, blah, blah. I said, don't worry. It's going to be on my phone right next to my decks, and we're going to watch it. She said, can I come back and watch it? And I'm probably like, you probably don't want to come back and watch us now. So just kind of enjoy this wedding reception and have a good time with me. Yeah, but thank you to everybody who's trusted me to be a part of their super special days.
Plug the name of your service.
Yeah, you ready for this?
Go.
Wildcat Sounds DJ Services, located right here.
Here's the thing: BBA probably could have guessed that.
Yes,
I love it.
Yeah. And you do the scratch, right?
If you want to talk stereotypes, yes, I do some scratching. Yes.
All right. Appreciate you. All right, TB, give me some final shot, sir.
Shout out to the volleyball team for making it to the Sweet 16
Absolutely.
for the 8th time in 9 years. I know the two big sports, football, men's basketball, but as you can see, I am literally all cats everything. So shout out to Coach Skinner and those ladies for their dominant run. I mean, 9 straight conference championships. That's a decade of kicking everybody's ass. So I think that's a pretty good job that Coach Skinner's doing. So hopefully they can get another national championship.
Paul, is that one thing Mitch did right with the
Volleyball?
volleyball?
Yeah. That's that. We won't get mad at volleyball. We're pretty good there.
Staying with you, my brother. Final shot.
I'm shout out to the BBN. Really, like this is. I know social media can be a toxic place, and there can just be a lot of wild shit. But I think you're starting to see, I think, in the last several months, a desire for this fan base to really understand what's going on in the NIL space, in how some of these teams are starting to, that are historic. I mean, Indiana, I think, was the losingest power team in a power conference until recently. I think that mantle is no longer theirs. I mean, think about it. They were worse than Vanderbilt. And I think you're starting to see a lot of fans, instead of just running to the coach and everything, that they're starting to ask questions to why. And shout out, because this is, and I've told people this fan base is really powerful. And if you really get behind it and give truth, honesty, and transparency, we could talk about all the donors, and maybe we're not the richest place in the world. This fan base, the million UK fans plus that are around, if they all gave around the world, more than 1 million around the world. Yeah. They gave $25 a month, or even 20 or 10, we would have a formidable fan run collective. And I think there's an engagement and a hunger there. And I'm really just proud of the fan base in general, of really starting to get hungry to understand the mechanics behind the schools, and realizing we have to adapt, not just as a program, as an institution, as an athletic department, but even as a fan base. And I'm really starting to see that shift now in the last 2 months, and it's going to be real interesting to see how that plays out over the next 6 or so, as we transition to a new athletic director, a new president, and keeping the foot on the gas and demanding excellence. Because why not? Dave, I'm going to go with Mark Stoops. Why not Kentucky? Why not Kentucky? And I think that's the mentality this fan base is starting to have, and I'm really proud of them.
Good stuff, brother. Trace, wrap it up for us. Final shot, man.
Mine's on a non-Kentucky note, not as serious note, but something I might be passionate more than I am about Kentucky basketball or football.
Go for it.
Short and sweet. If you're not going more than 10 miles faster in the left lane of a highway, please get over into the right lane. When I want that on my tombstone, that is my dying wish. Get the fuck over.
See, that's the fucking final shot. I want. Yeah. Exactly.
Don't go to Ohio much, man.
Get over.
Get over. All right. What a great night. Great podcast tonight. Appreciate everyone in the chat. People watching, Trace, Paul, thanks for hanging with us on
no problem.
Your first nights. I'm giving carte blanche. Come and hang with us. It's fun. I mean, Kentucky sports will always have something to talk about. The most passionate fan base, and it's who we are. And on a Sunday night right now, guys, 1,600 people watching us. That's our fan base, and that's a credit to you guys too. Appreciate you guys. Hey, everyone, again, thanks for hanging with us. People, cheesy plug, Round of Shots on X. Follow, give us a like. I mean, this is just it's fun stuff. I do this shit on a Sunday night to wind down my night, hang out with some cool people, talk, and interact with the fan base. Again, the most passionate fan base. We got a couple games lined up this week. Hopefully we get some players back on the floor or on the court to get their feet wet. Let's hope rights this wrong. For Davo, Trace, TB, Paul, Rando, Kevin, wishing everyone a good night, a good week. Go Cats. Peace out. Have a good. Take care. See ya. See you guys.
Later.
Later, guys.